Hi, welcome back to Cross Stitch the Globe. My name is Stephanie and this is the channel about cross stitch. And this is the video that I promised you on where to get free cross stitch patterns. We have two kinds of videos on our channel. Well, we have three kinds, but we do personal updates on Mondays. Next Monday, I'm gonna do a special extra because I don't have any non-secret stitching, not enough non-secret stitching to show. But normally Mondays, I will film the Flosstube, and on Thursdays, some kind of fun extra like this one. So I do want to say, like, this video started out as a Instagram fight. And the reason, so my sister Allison and I have put out 6 free cross stitch pattern videos. We have Christmas, fall and Halloween, spring, Easter, and summer. And there are many more topics that I want to cover for free patterns. But my attention was drawn to the fact that not everyone knows what are like legal sources of free cross stitch pattern versus like copyright infringement, because there was an influencer on Instagram, and I won't say who they are, I won't tag them, but they had like put out a reel that was like kind of popping off about like one special thing you could do for your cross stitch to make cross stitch easier. And they were kind of acting like they invented this thing, and it was like, okay. But in the instructions, they told people, sorry, I'm outside of my parents' house and I'm loving the light. There is some like extra noise, but my sister's watching my kids right now. Anyway, so my childcare situation is going to get a lot easier over the next few weeks, but today is still crazy. So, okay. So in the like instructions on how to do this thing, they said like, just go to Pinterest and get a cross stitch pattern. And it's like, oh, honey, no, sweet summer child, don't go to Pinterest to get a cross stitch pattern. If you go to Pinterest and you search cross stitch pattern, most of those are stolen. And you can tell that they're stolen because they are like scanned, and on there they straight up say that they are copyrighted by so-and-so, and they are not free patterns. Now there are some like pins of blog posts and stuff. I'm not saying you can't find a free pattern on Pinterest, but for the most part, telling someone to just go to Pinterest and get a cross stitch pattern is telling someone to commit a copyright violation, right? Because there's a lot of just bad stuff on Pinterest, and it's not fun that that's the way that it is, but it is the way that it is. So you cannot tell someone, if you love cross stitch and you love the cross stitch community, you cannot tell someone to use Pinterest as like a valid source of free patterns. But I have 17 other things you can do. And in the comments, I got a little snippy, I got kind of nasty, nastier than I normally would. And I was like, you know, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I kind of embarrassed myself. And then someone was like, acted like, basically I said like, I have a whole playlist of free patterns if people need free patterns, but I didn't drop the link because I didn't want to look like I was trying to promote the playlist, because I wasn't. I was just basically saying that it's easy to get free cross stitch patterns if you know where to look, and that Pinterest isn't an appropriate place to look for them. And then it turned into this whole fight. So I said like, okay, I will make this video. This was a few months ago. I will make a video of all the places that I look for free patterns when we're putting together those videos, because then anyone who wants to can go find these. And also some of these are things you need to follow on a semi-regular basis, because some free patterns are only free for like a limited amount of time. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so a couple things to know about free cross stitch patterns. Most of the time you are not allowed to distribute them. So if you find a really cool one that you really like, let's say Maximum Cross Stitch has one you think is amazing, you need to send your friend the link to it, not the actual download. Because the reason people put out free patterns are many, but a lot of them are to help them build like their newsletter list or get traffic to their website so people see other cool things. So unless it says like free to distribute on there, you can't distribute it. And you need to send people to the original source, which is another reason that Pinterest isn't good, is because they're, even if they were free, a lot of times they're just scanned in, and that is not cool. Like, you need to send people to the original source. Okay, so 17 places to get free cross stitch patterns. Websites, the interwebs. Okay, but what websites? Some websites that have cross stitch patterns are scammy. What websites are the right ones to go to? Okay, so if you have a favorite designer, go look on their website and go look and see if they have a section that says freebies. A lot of them do, and then you can download from there. Like Blue Flower, Liz Matthews have like amazing freebie sections. Other websites that sometimes will have free patterns. Online needle workshops. Online needle workshops a lot of times will have links or the actual downloads for free cross stitch patterns that they are allowed to distribute. I know Hobby House has some really good ones. I know that's the one that I go to the most. So that's the one I'll say as an example. But check any ONS that you really like. They may have a free cross stitch pattern section. Shop websites. Okay, well, I mean, Hobby House is a local needle workshop in LNS, so that's for them. For an ONS, I would say, like, I think maybe Top Knot Stitcher has a section. I'm not 100% sure on that. Lindy Stitches, I know, has free cross stitch patterns that are her own designs, but they're on her online needle workshop website. Or like websites for places that make cross stitch products, like Aurifil has some free cross stitch patterns because they want you to use their thread for the patterns. So like if there is a product you really like, you go and see if they have a free cross stitch pattern section too. So any company that you interact with that does cross stitch, go see if their website has free patterns. Free patterns are the most common, like, easy thing for people to give to customers and just users as, like, the light is hitting me a little bit strange right in this exact moment, as like bonus stuff. So, and a lot of times they will keep those forever. All right, so that's the kinds of websites I go to when I'm looking for them. Next, newsletters. So some places, I'm thinking like Primrose Cottage. Sorry, this is real. All right, that's better. We're just gonna scoot over here for the next bit. Okay, so some places have newsletters where they have free patterns in their newsletters, but they don't have those free patterns listed anywhere else afterwards. I'm thinking Primrose Cottage, which has, like, I think a monthly, if you're on their cross stitch newsletter, you can get like a monthly freebie, but it's not free after that time period. I think Teresa Kogut might have something similar, or has in the past. I've definitely gotten a freebie from Teresa Kogut in the past. It was like an Easter freebie that is not a freebie now. So if there's a designer you really like, or I just kind of get on, anytime I'm on a designer's website, I just kind of sign up for their newsletter. I know Sprouting Lupine has some really good freebies that are accessible from her website. I don't know if they're accessible from her newsletter. I don't know if they're accessible anywhere else. But designers and websites that want to use, they really want to grow their newsletter, will oftentimes put their freebies on their newsletter. So just get on them. Number 3, Instagram accounts. So a lot of people will make Instagram specific. Okay, that's better. The light was getting real crazy, and it might get crazy again, and we might have to move again. Okay, so number 3 is Instagram. So there's a lot of designers. I'm thinking Erin Elizabeth Designs, Shannon Christine Designs, Cat on Creations, who will make freebies specifically for Instagram, and then you just screenshot them on Instagram. So you need to follow those accounts. Anytime I see someone put up a freebie, I will just follow their Instagram account. And the reason they put their freebies there is to grow their Instagram account. So it's not cool to screenshot it and send your friend the screenshot. You really just want to screenshot it and then send your friend a link to send your friend the post so that they interact with the post. And some of them leave those freebies up for a really long time. But as you can imagine, if someone puts a freebie up tomorrow, in a year, it might be kind of hard to find. Even if they leave it on Instagram, it's not really searchable. So whenever I see one that I like, I take a screenshot of it instantly so that I know that I will have it. And that has served me well in the past. I've told this story many times, but there's a cross stitch design company that put up a freebie and then deleted it a few hours later, and it was an Olympics freebie. And I'm wondering if the deletion had to do with like Olympics copyright, but I never found out the story. Anyway, I had the freebie, I stitched it. One of my friends wanted it. A couple hours later, it was gone, and so she couldn't stitch it. So definitely, if you see an Instagram freebie that you like, screenshot it and follow the designers and the needle workshops and the everyone that you like, whose businesses you like, on Instagram, so that you can see those. Number 4, your local library. Now, this is in a couple different ways. Your library probably has subscriptions to cross stitch magazines and probably has some cross stitch books. Allison and I have stitched. Allison stitched from Lindsay Swearengen's Creepy Cross Stitch, which she got on our Libby, the Libby app. I have used the Libby app to get every issue of Just Cross Stitch since I started knowing that you could get it on Libby. So every time there's a new just cross stitch, Libby tells me, and I'm able to go in and read it and get all the patterns that I want. So if your library has the Libby app, I'm gonna let this giant truck pass by. If your library has the Libby app, definitely sign up for it, and then go in and search for cross stitch, and then you can get notified when they get new magazines that you're looking for. But then also, if there's a cross stitch book that you really like that maybe they don't have, you can request it. All right, and then also you can go into your library and look for the books, like the hard copy books, if you don't want to do it on the app. All right, 5. Local needlework shops. Now, I mentioned the LNS websites earlier. This light is real crazy. Okay, so I mentioned LNS websites earlier, but if you actually go to a local needlework shop, some of them have patterns that are free patterns that are a lot of the ones that you can get other ways, but they're from some designers, and they're the ones that they have the right to print out, and they will just put it with your purchase. So if you go into a local needlework shop, you may find that they have free cross stitch patterns that they give out with purchase, or they may have a section of freebies. I know Allison, when she was at Cecilia Samplers, there was like a whole freebie section. All right, number 6, Fat Quarter Shop. Fat Quarter Shop is a online needlework shop, but I want to put it separately because they have a lot of freebies that are from like big time designers. Like they have like Artsy Housewife freebies, and they have a bunch of Susan Aki freebies, and they have some really good freebies, both for things that they have done as like stitch alongs and things that they have organized, but then also just other designers, they have some of their freebies hosted. And so sometimes when I'm searching for like Artsy Housewife freebie or Halloween freebie online, it will take me to the Fat Quarter Shop. So, but they don't have a good way to find them on their website. So you just kind of got to poke around. All right, number 7, retreats and stitchy days. A lot of times people who have stitchy days and a lot of retreats will have like a giveaway table. This is a great way to destash your own stuff if you don't want to deal with selling it. But you don't want it to like go, a lot of times if you take cross stitch stuff to like Goodwill, it will just go to a landfill because they don't really resell it very well. Not because people don't want it, but because they literally don't take it to the stores. So don't take it to Goodwill, take it to your local stitching day. But also if you want free cross stitch patterns, if you go to a retreat or a stitchy day, especially a stitchy day because they wouldn't usually cost any money, a lot of times you will find free cross stitch patterns. I've gotten magazines recently. Also, sometimes people will just be like, oh, I'm done with this pattern. Do you want it? So in-person cross stitch events that facilitate that kind of giving and destashing are a wonderful place to get free stuff. 8, Flosstube. So this is in 2 ways. One, lots of Flosstubes, ours included, have giveaways. Now, we don't always ship our giveaways in a timely manner, but we do have giveaways. So we do give away cross stitch patterns. Not every episode, but a lot of episodes. But then also sometimes Flosstubes will design a pattern, and maybe they'll send it out in their newsletter or whatever. But like I know Carrie from Tiger Lily Designs has some really cute cross stitch patterns that are available on her website, but maybe you didn't even know she had cross stitch patterns because you don't think of her as a designer. Maybe you think of her as like a floss tuber and a quilter and a teacher. You know, maybe you don't think like, oh, of course she designs, but she does. So when you're watching her floss tube, maybe you'll find out about her most recent freebie that's on her website in a way where maybe you wouldn't find it anywhere else. So definitely if there are floss tubers who are in the like craftier side, or like my friend Jen from Jen's Fiberweb, she has a freebie that she put out on Instagram. But if you aren't on Instagram, you would have also learned about it from her floss tube. Destashes. So I run paid destashes. Like I sell things on Etsy as part of a destash, both things that I have purchased and then things that I thrift and then things other people have either donated or are paying me to sell. But some people want to destash and they don't want to deal with all the hassle of listing everything. So they're just like, if you want it, you can have it. Some of these happen on Instagram, right? So if you're not on Instagram, you might miss out. I just recently saw someone saying like, if you want it, claim it. And sometimes you have to pay for the shipping and sometimes you don't. It just depends on how the person is doing it. But if you are kind of connected to the community and if people know, like, I like a specific type of thing, if they're going to get rid of it, they might look to you to destash it. But then also if you see someone saying like, I'm giving away these magazines, you want them, like you can claim them. Like if the more you are a part of the community, the more those kind of opportunities will pop up. I'm just now noticing the ring light reflection here, which the ring light's not even on. Normally it's in my glasses, but it's not even on because it's this beautiful light. But like we're doing what we got to do today. All right, number 10, organize a swap. So let's say you don't have a stitchy day plan, or all the people you want to trade patterns with live in different places in the country. You can organize a stitchy swap. Now, that might still include shipping, so it might not actually be like zero cost, but you might be like, pick 3 patterns you want to give, and we'll, you could organize the swap a lot of different ways, but you could be like, everybody send me 3 patterns and I will send 3 random patterns to you, like back, you can do it a lot of different ways. But a lot of people have patterns they know they're not going to stitch. They were inspired at one point, but now they're not, or somebody gave it to them and it's not for them, but they're just kind of being the custodian of it. And so you could say like, at our stitchy day, bring 3 patterns you want to swap, and everybody who wants to swap will put them on a table or whatever. Like you can organize your own swap if none of these other methods work for you. All right, number 11, model stitch. So a lot of designers will ask for model stitches. Some positions of model stitching is paid, so like actually you make money. Some isn't. Some where you keep the thing you stitch, and some you have to send it to them. So if you're looking for free patterns that then you get to keep the stitch, you probably want to look for model stitching that is for people who are like not super high up professionals, where their models would need to go to trunk shows. Like if people stitch models for me, I don't get the models. I just have them send me pictures because I'm not hosting trunk shows for my patterns. So if somebody really wanted a pattern from me, like if they wanted a free pattern from me and they could say like, I want to test stitch for you, I could get my S together and actually get them one. They could stitch it and then just send me pictures of it, right? But also like Teresa Kogut, Liz Matthews, Artsy Housewife, they all have model stitchers, and they all occasionally need new model stitchers to apply. So if you're cool with enjoying the stitching and maybe getting paid for it and then sending the product, the stitching in, like if you're someone who just would put it in it under the bed box anyway, that's a great way to get free patterns. And then you get patterns that are pretty cool ones that nobody else knows about yet. All right, number 12, industry events with purchase. So if you are buying something from Nashville Needlework Market, or if you're buying something from online marketplace, a lot of times designers will make freebies, and then you can get those freebies if you purchase something else. So it's not a way to get a free pattern where you don't pay for anything, but it is a cool way to get a free pattern if you're going to buy something and then just you kind of get a bonus. So sometimes it pays to not wait and to go ahead and get the pre-order or the hands across the sea deal that has 2 for 1, where later it's going to be. Now if you just have zero budget, that's not the best way to go around because it's going to cost you money. But if you are like, I'm going to buy this pattern anyway, should I wait 6 months or not, sometimes it's better to go ahead and get it because you might get the freebie with it. Forums, Reddit. There are forums out there that do cross stitch that do have freebies on them. Some of them are newer or ongoing forums, like Reddit is ongoing, and sometimes people will design things for Reddit forums for free. And then some of them are older forums where like people aren't active on there anymore, but there were freebies published that have never been taken down that you were still allowed to get. I would say in that same situation, blogs. There's some older blogs where people have designed things that are free, and maybe that's not their original, like Blackbird Designs. There's a lot of links to old Blackbird Design blog posts with freebies in them. Now that's not like a current site that's being run, but the links are still good and you're still allowed to use them. So just because a forum or a blog is old doesn't mean you can't use the link. If the person wants to take it down, they can. And then also ongoing forums like Reddit. All right, number 14, Ko-Fi. So Etsy doesn't allow you to put like free stuff up, but a lot of designers will have a Ko-Fi, and they'll have a Ko-Fi shop where like you can buy stuff, but then also that will be a lot of times where they put out a freebie, or sometimes they'll put it on their website and their Ko-Fi. If you follow the designers and the makers who you like on Ko-Fi. I don't know if it's Ko-fi or Ko-Fi. You'll get notified. Like I got notified this week that Jed X Stitch had published freebies on her Ko-Fi because I purchased patterns from her on her Ko-Fi. And then also that's a great place where it'll usually say like, if it's free, it'll say like pay $0 or more. And if you really have no budget, you can get it for free. But if you have a little bit of budget, you could be like, okay, I have a little bit. Let me throw $1 or $5 or whatever. Patreon. Patreon is similar and different than Ko-Fi. So Patreon is where people can sign up to support people on a monthly basis. But there are some people like the Artsy Housewife that also use their Patreon to host their freebies. And so you can follow them on Patreon without paying. I've been in the Artsy Housewife Patreon, but then I don't have as much money as I used to, so I don't get to do that anymore. But when I stopped being in her Patreon, I'm still following her free level of Patreon, and so I still get to see any new freebies that come up. But anyone can go to her Ko-Fi, follow her Ko-Fi or her Patreon, follow her Patreon, and get the old freebies. So, and the Artsy Housewife has amazing freebies. So any designer you really like, I do this with Teresa Koga too. I'm not in her Patreon, but I do, I'm in the free level of Teresa Koga, Bendy Stitchy, Artsy Housewife, Liz Matthews, and at times I have been paid members of some of those, but all of them I follow. And then if anybody puts up like Michelle Bendy Stitchy just put up her like free night garden border, or like just different things, like then I get to see what pops up, and if there is a freebie I can just grab it, because if they don't put it behind the paywall, if they put it on the free level, then it's for everyone. All right, number 16, Facebook groups. So I've been doing a bunch of night garden patterns, and I just found out the Facebook group has a freebie night garden pattern that I didn't even know about. So I just joined. I just got accepted today so that I can go in and grab it. If there are designers you like, or floss tubes you like, or workshops you like, and they have a Facebook group, go join them. I know there's one designer who puts up freebies like weekly all the time in theirs, and I can't remember who it is. I've gotten a ton of freebies from the Witch's Garden Crafts Facebook group. Just, different people, different designers and businesses some will be more present on Facebook, some will be more present on Instagram, more present on Patreon. And you just have to follow them all everywhere and follow their newsletter if you want to get all of them. Or another thing is you could just follow them all on Instagram. A lot of times Instagram, the information will bubble up. But I just kind of follow everyone everywhere all the time. And honestly, I wouldn't even have Facebook anymore if it wasn't for cross stitch, because every other part of my life that use Facebook is like donezo. Like, we don't know, you go in there and it's dead. But the cross stitch groups are like thriving, the de-scratch groups, and also the designer and the freebies and everything. So I will keep Facebook as long as cross stitch designers are using it for good information. Also, if you're like in the Bestitch Me Facebook group, her giveaways are so generous. She just had a bunch. It'll probably be a while, but like there are just some places where it just being in their Facebook group is worth money. All right, number 17, you can make your own, and you can draw your own picture and then pixelate it. You can draw on graph paper, which I will link to the graph paper notebook that my friend designed for me that she sells on Amazon. If you want to sketch things on graph paper, or you can sketch things on like a tablet or whatever, and then pixelate it. Or you can Allison uses Pictopat, where she takes pictures and translates them into cross stitch patterns. For my paid patterns, I switched over to Max Stitch, which does all of that, and it was like a $35 fee one time, I think. Maybe more than that, but it was like a one-time fee. But if you don't want to do that, there are free websites that will let you do pixel art, or that will convert your photos to cross-stitch patterns for you. So whether your artwork starts out as a drawing or a picture, like a photograph, you can convert it to a cross-stitch pattern for free and then stitch your own designs. And Allison never bought a cross-stitch pattern like the first 6 years that she stitched, because she just designed her own patterns and she didn't even really know that cool ones were for sale out in the world. So that is 17 ways without using Pinterest to get free cross-stitch patterns. If I left out your favorite source of legal cross stitch patterns, leave it in the comments. And let me know if there's any one of these that you use all the time, you really like it. If there's any tips you have, leave it. Let's make the comments really resourceful. Not resourceful. Make the comments a very good resource for stitchers. If you are a new stitcher, you didn't know there was like, sometimes you fall in love with the picture you fall in love with, and sometimes it's free and sometimes it's not. But if you're on a budget and you get that freebie, it's nice. Also, I have a hoard, a dragon's hoard of freebies on my Dropbox, and I won't stitch them, but I don't have to feel guilty that they're there, and I can look at them and see, like, I can just pet my dragon hoard without feeling guilty because I didn't spend any money for them. And it makes me more aware of designers and things that I do potentially want to stitch, because I don't save every freebie I see. I save the freebies that I like, but you can only stitch so much. So you could and like there are huge freebies and there are small freebies. So you could stitch only free. Honestly, you could stitch only free patterns. Like you really could. There are so many good ones out there. I will link in the description below to the 6 free pattern videos we have that are actually like parades of cool free patterns. But anyway, leave your tips in the comments. And I had to write this out because I forgot my iPad and I was going to be filming on my camera or on my phone, which I don't always. Sometimes I film on my camera, sometimes I film on my phone. But anyway, I'm going to have a floss tube on Monday. No, I already said no. I'm going to have a moon pattern parade on Monday because I asked if you guys wanted to see it, and you guys, enough of you said you were crazy like me that you wanted to see it. So we're going to do that. If you made it to this point in the video, leave a money emoji because you're keeping all that money in your wallet while you get your free cross stitch patterns. And if you're not subscribed, I would love you to subscribe for more fun extras like this. I think it's going to be Mondays about my stitching and Thursdays are about our stitching. So anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week.